Good afternoon. Yeah, it's afternoon. So I wanted to make this video about female-centric masculinity. Going a little bit deeper into the concept. It's something I talked about previously. Hold on. It's something that I talked about previously in another video where we need to really focus or get back onto the track of male-based masculinity, you know, or male-centric masculinity. And then BGS just you know, listen, great timing as always. But BGS released a video talking about, like, you know, the breakdown of single millennials and their earning potential, or their earnings in the U.S. And, you know, like, well into the 1%, thank God. But actually, am I? No, I think I'm in 2%, the top 2% or something like. No, well, 1% is the. Oh no, I'm top 2% in the U.S. and then definitely top 1% in black male millennials between 25 and 40. I'm 37, going to be 37. So yeah, but it's like that goes into something that I've talked about in terms of female-centric masculinity, is the whole provide, protect, and guide a woman, right? Like, women always say this: I need a man that could provide for me, that could protect me and my kids, or me and my kids, or his kids, and whatever it is, and then also guide me as a woman to get me to, you know, my so I can blossom into my womanhood, and so on and so forth. And men, there's like a lot of alpha males, and I made this comment under BGS's video. I was like, there's a lot of alpha males out there that really think that they're, you know, that dude, they're that patriarch, so to speak, and in actuality, they're really not. You know, give me a sec. I just wanted to bring up the comment and just read it off real quick.
Go down.
I'm like halfway through his video, and I'm like, dang, man, I was just thinking about making this video. But, you know, what's great about this space is that we can talk about these things, and then we grow, you know, or we grow and we flesh it out a little bit more. Anyways, so, yeah, I plan to address this from a social programming standpoint. My premise is that provide, protect, and guide are now female-centric masculinity, and how these things serve the woman and not the man, because he can lose access to his lineage through the courts. So basically, brothers who believe in that do so from the perspective that the woman is the prize. And hopefully I didn't just mess up my audio by taking out my Bluetooth. But anyway, the woman is the prize, meaning there are a lot of alphas who are minions to their women and don't even know it. And, you know, I had thought about this, and then, you know, BGS made that the video talking about, hey, listen, there's not enough men that will provide for women or be in the 6-figure range, especially for a man that you know, a man that is expected to be the sole provider for the family of a family of 2 or 3, household, and all this other stuff. Like, we already know the numbers in terms of white women and how much they work. I think it's like 70% of white women have to actually work and hold a job, and, you know, and as well as, so it's like 50-50 is the premise of what BGS was saying from a number standpoint. Is 50-50 is the name of the game. 50-50 has always been the name of the game, in a sense, because of low earning potential or low earning opportunities for black men. Even, like, you know, post-slavery, and then even now, it's to the point where most people are making, you know, 20 to 50K. So, anyways, with all that being said, I look at provide, protect, and guide now has been perverted or turned or converted into a female-centric lens. So you have to provide for the woman. You have to protect the woman. You have to guide the woman. What about that actually helps you? Oh, okay. Well, you know, this woman comes in, she cooks, she cleans, she does all these things for you. All right, great. So then we look at divorce numbers. And then that changes, right? And then we also look at, you know, some of your anecdotal evidence, some of the stuff that you deal with emotionally, you know, emotionally speaking, where is my dog? Emotionally speaking, you look at this stuff. Now you're looking at this stuff from the emotional standpoint of, okay, well, when I actually do this for a woman, then it's a possibility that she still might leave me. It's a possibility that, you know, I'm gonna have a hard time trying to discipline my kids and raise them in the vision or what I have envisioned for them in terms of their future, in terms of how they would act, their behavior, mannerisms, so on and so forth. You have so many blockers. So even if you are the alpha, you're doing all of these things and you're running at what's it called? You're running full speed. In a sense, you could be running full speed into a divorce regardless of what you do. It's always something where it's like, well, how can I get to the point where, you know, this woman submits to me? Well, then you have to, like, you know, look at what you have available in terms of women. And then now you're like, well, I can't get submission. Hopefully I can possibly get cooperation. Right? And then cooperation means that it could be 50-50. Sometimes the person might agree with you, and the other times the person doesn't. You know, it's always that she has to have input, so on and so forth. Well, if you're the sole provider, you know, like, okay, you know, like, well, why are you having such, like, you know, how would you say it? Why do you have such say in these matters? Well, you know, it goes back to programming. What have you been taught? We've been taught for these women to actually have, you know, this type of say. You know, it's always been like that. You know, of course, and then also in a lot of ways, I've always been like that in terms of my time frame, of course. But a lot of ways, you know, these women have been the leader and the leading voice in the home as well. So that's why a lot of people are quote unquote okay with it, because it's normal. It's something that they always do. Ah, crap, I don't want you guys to listen to my dog take a deuce. All right, so it's something that they always do, right? And so when you look at stuff like that, you really start to see how, if I was to provide for somebody or something, then that would be more along the lines of, okay, if I provide for this person, how does it benefit me, right? And then how does it benefit me in the long term? Are we actually going to stay together? Is this person going to be there when I am sick? You know, are they going to be there for me in my later years and things like that? And you just see so many people are breaking up, especially in their 40s and 50s, where it's just kind of crazy. You know, I've talked about stories and scenarios and or stories that I've heard from other people, and then we've actually had stories from other people in other parts of the space as well. But you start to see where, you know, all of this provide, protect, and guide is something for her. All right, you provide for her, and I've repeated this, but you provide for her and she gets something out of it, right? She gets that provision. All right, cool. If she breaks bad, so to speak, then you're still going to be providing for her, even if you are not actually attached to her or committed to her, or you're attached to her. I came up with that phrase, or the kind of the phrase commitment without attachment, and it's just something that, you know, I was watching a Courtney Michelle video, the one where she was talking to her baby daddy and everything. She was saying, you know, hey, listen, I know I'm not a single mother because I can always call you. And I'm like, whoa, that's not a red flag because he's buying, not just because he's buying into it, because he wants to be a part of his daughter's life, and that probably helps him in other areas as well, in terms of just making things easier for him and dealing with her. But also, she has the commitment from this man in terms of that he will always be there to help and so on and so forth. But she does not have the attachment. She doesn't pay the relationship tax. She doesn't have to lay up with him on a regular night or every night. Even, you know, the access to sex is not there. But if anything happens, she can always call on him to fix things, solve problems, you know, make sure that he disciplines his daughter on a regular basis. And it's like, you know, you would say, man, that's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I'm supposed to do as a man. Like, yeah, that's my seed. That's my little person. That's my mini me, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, yeah, but you're doing that external. So at that point, why not just be a surrogate? You know, why not be a surrogate, have a nanny? And then you can control everything. Everything's kind of vertically integrated, so to speak, right? Like, everything is within your home. So, for instance, in my home, I've talked about, like, hey, listen, I have a cleaning lady. Like, my floor is absolutely freaking disgusting in in my sunroom here. And you know, they're gonna come in on Sunday. You know, if I need to, you know, you can see my concrete out there. The path is, you know, you can actually see it's not super dark or anything like that, like it was a couple months or like a month or two ago. And that's because it got cleaned. You know, like I can get somebody to wash the house and do all these other things. So all this stuff is actually handled or controlled by me in the house, and I'm able to thankfully afford to do those things and keep up with the property in terms of lawn care and stuff like that. But I could just, you know, what's it called? What do they say? I can contract out the work, so I don't have to do it. So why not? Why can't I contract out, like, you know, childcare? We already do it when it comes to daycares and things like that. Why not contract out nanny care and things like that? You can have a live-in nanny that stays with you X amount of times out of the day, especially when the child is young. It is very expensive to do so, but so is, you know, being caught up in a divorce or being caught up with a person that is uncooperative, a person that doesn't want to cook and clean and do all these other things, and you still have to do it anyway because you have to call the maid and all this other stuff. Now, if you have a big house, I would totally understand that. Like, you know, one person cleaning one big house, yeah, I don't know. That's a little bit too much for me if you ask me. But I was, you know, I used to, when I ran my consulting company, there's this one couple. They lived in a high-end neighborhood in Lighthouse Point in Florida. And Lighthouse Point has some mansions, some real nice stuff, you know, coastal, or I think marina, what's it called, intercoastal access. So this family, they had a yacht, or they had a nice boat and everything. So on and so forth. I think the guy was a multimillionaire, and his wife also was a doctor, so they made guap, they made good money, and they still had like a damn near, I think, a living cleaning lady, man. Like, she had her own room, the kids had their own room, and you know, big master suite and all that stuff. And you know, the lady cleaned up, and the wife was able to work. Even the lady even cooked as well. The wife could cook as well, but you know, it's like all these things can be farmed out. So it's like, okay, what is the value of this woman, especially if she's not going to cooperate, she's not going to add to your piece, she's not going to do anything for you to make your life easier or beneficial by having her close to you. And this is not just me being sour or anything like that, but this is me just looking at it and saying, hey, you know, if I'm with this person, they should actually be more of a benefit than just, you know, popping out kids for me. You know, that's kind of, quote-unquote, the easier part, or biological. In my last video, I talked about, you know, you could just make a deal with a chick, you know, for 10 years, or she, you have 2 kids, she gets to the point where, or she stays with you until the second kid is at least 10 years old. And again, these are all arbitrary numbers. You can do it however you want. You can mix and match. You can change. You can increase, decrease, blah, 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 augment, you know, whatever. But they're already, like, that deal, that whole surrogacy or polyamorous type relationship or polygamous type relationship where a lot of these women are having babies for the same men is already happening. So if you want somebody with, like, you know, little to no commitment, you can just make the deal with some woman. Especially in terms of what's going on now. This dog really just jumped right into the damn grass. I hope she don't get bit by a snake. Anyways, you know, you can really start, you could already have something like that going. So when I look at, you know, male, like, you know, masculinity now, masculinity is in service to the woman. It's not in service to the man and what he can actually, what he wants and his values. It's really in service to the woman. And for you to actually, you know, it's of course, you know, I'm not going to do the whole Nawal thing or put a disclaimer out there. And it's not like you can't really get it. But then it's like you start to get certain levels of bullshit and you expect, you have a certain standard or a certain level of desire or want requirements at a certain level of income. And even with people with high income, they're not getting that. You know, you look at Tyrese and what he just went through. Of course, everybody says Will and Jada. You know, and there's many others, and I just won't name them because I don't remember all of them. But you're just starting to see where a lot of these people are putting themselves, in a sense, on the chopping block, on the like in the guillotine. Sorry, here. Dang, this dog is dirty. you're putting yourself on that chopping block, putting your head in that guillotine just so you can get it chopped off at a moment's notice. You won't even think anything's wrong, and then you find out your wife's cheating on you. I was watching a video on Chizazet about that a last week or so, where this guy's like, listen, 6 months into our relationship, and she's already cheating on me with the trainer and hiding it. So it's just like, wow, is this what we've come to? Is this what we've come to expect? This is normal. This is okay. This isn't the masculinity that a lot of us would exhibit, or actually want to exhibit, or actually feel comfortable with. So I think it's very odd. I wanted to put that out there. I think I did all right with it, just getting the general point across, providing other instances of this, and really touching the surface of it, where a lot of the protect, provide, and guide alpha male shit that a lot of men exhibit, announce, what's it called? They live their life by, is really feminine, feminine-centric masculinity. It doesn't do much for them. It doesn't do what it should for them. And if I was to give an example, and I do want to provide this, but an example of a male-based masculinity, it would be, sharpening your skills, making connections with other people, providing a future for your family in more ways than one, and even providing for your offspring, really, in more ways than one. So college and all that other stuff, making sure that your lineage and your progeny go on into the future, teaching them and guiding them with your mindset, and kind of shortening their time to learn in some ways, shortening that up. So I think that's a big thing for me. That's where I want to that's where I'm looking to. That's what I view as male-based masculinity. And even when you heard that, the little bit that I talked about, sharpening your skills, getting better, making connections, guiding your children, that doesn't include so much your woman, not directly, if you're with a woman, yeah, the kids are involved and everything else like that. But in terms of how you talk with these kids and what you teach them, and the hard lessons and the talks that you have with them, that's between you and the child. That's not so much the woman. Where the woman does get into it is if she's a blocker of some sort of your teachings and your sensibilities and things like that. And that's where there's a big problem. That's where we run into issues, so to speak. All right, so with that being said, thank you as always. Appreciate you all for listening, and wish you all the best. Love you all. Really do mean that. And, go forward and, do what you can to improve yourself. Do what you can to exhibit male-based masculinity, or to really work towards a male-based masculinity or masculine mindset. Doing things not for yourself, but definitely not just for other people, but doing things that will improve you so that you can support more in the future. Actually, one thing I was thinking about, I was talking with somebody in terms of, I was talking to my mentee last night, and just thinking about how can I be a better member of my team for my day job? Not leaning on them, right? If you lean too much on one person, trust fall, if you just lean and just fall on somebody, can they support you? And even if you just say, hey, you just tap them and say, hey, listen, man, can you help me out with this? All right, cool. How can you facilitate them supporting you as well? And that's one of the big things for me in terms of me as a team member, that I'm not putting all of my work and weight and pressure on the person that I'm working with, because I'm working with them. And they're not working for me. They're not my subordinate. And even if they were my subordinate, as a subordinate, my job is to make sure that they can actually do their job to the best of their ability. I believe it is servant-based leadership. And I got that phrase from my current project manager. but service-based leadership, a servant leader, so to speak, or servant-based leadership. And that's really saying, hey, listen, I'm your leader, but I'm here to help you become a better member of this team to make it a stronger team, because I know by making this a stronger team, I can actually do more myself, so on and so forth. All right. That's pretty much it. I'm getting some IM, so I got to reach out to this person now. But hey, thank you guys as always. Peace.